Welcome back to the Nexus, where we spotlight some of our favorite local businesses and entrepreneurs. And I am very excited to introduce you to Doug Hancock today. He's with Border States. He is a longtime friend of mine. He has been an advocate for small business. He's always willing to help people out. I'm really excited for you to learn a few things from Doug today. So welcome to the show, Doug.
Thank you for that warm intro, and I didn't have to pay you a thing to say that.
Nope, no money involved, no dollars were
Nothing's
exchanged.
changed hands.
You might owe me a margarita later.
We can do that,
Okay.
or a golf outing,
Yeah.
or both.
Those are a few things we like to enjoy together. Doug's a fun-loving person, but it's always business. Business is always included with all of those adventures. So we'll get into that maybe in
Okay.
a little bit. But
Sounds great.
why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of where you're from, and how you got to the position you're in today?
Well, sure. So nothing happens by accident, right? So I'm born and raised in Lincoln, Nebraska. Both my parents were from small Nebraska communities, not West Point.
No.
But two great daughters. You know, my oldest one, Emily.
Yes.
And I've had lots of job experiences, so I never quite knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. Maybe not even until like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So
it could change again.
And,
You
know,
never
my
know.
experiences are vast. So I always tell people I got out of prison in '97. And they're like, "What?" No, I worked for Department of Correctional Services, the state penitentiary.
Yeah.
Long-term
that
care.
was a school of hard knocks for.
It was.
It was an experience.
Every job that I've had, I've learned or taken something away.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I liked it. Doesn't mean I knew that was the end game. But I gleaned something from it, and I think that's a good life lesson, right, for anybody.
Yeah.
That whether you're wherever you're at in your journey, whatever you're doing professionally, personally, you can't just stop learning.
Right.
So that's how I look at that. The last few years, as everybody knows, have been the economy, everything's been tough, the COVID stuff and all that, and two of the companies I had worked for are no longer as we know them. Mm-hmm. So that was tough. But I landed at Border States a few months ago.
Doing business development for them.
Correct. Account management, business
Yep.
development. It's at the end of the day, it's outside sales, B2B.
Yep.
Since '97, that's what I've enjoyed the most. But correct.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a skill of yours. Something that I really find value in is the way that you value your relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and you invest back into your relationships. You're not just making a relationship to try to get something out of it. You first and foremost want to offer something to that relationship. And so I don't know, touch on that a little bit. It's something I definitely wanted to talk about today, just because I feel like it's your biggest strength, among other things. But I don't think that's easy and natural for everybody. So how do you find it easiest to build those relationships?
Well, that's a good point, and that's would be what I would consider, as you've identified, one of my strengths in relationship building. That's really the goal. A side benefit of that, or a product of that, is obviously the networking and doing business with somebody on a long-term, mutually beneficial relationship. Mm-hmm. Not just a kind of a one-hit wonder or move on to the next victim mentality. Mm-hmm. To me, it's a little more natural. As you know, I'm a little on the extroverted side. But I think...
A little.
We all have different strengths and weaknesses, but developing those relationships, it starts really with face-to-face. I mean, we have Zoom, we have Teams, we have all that technology. And the last few years were a little hard on that, right? I got zoomed out, to be honest with you.
Oh, man, me too.
Now, this is what I enjoy. Mm-hmm. And so as you can perpetuate those relationships multiple ways, especially in business. There's the obvious, there's the transactional. You buy mm-hmm. from me and I buy from you.
Yep.
But I think taking that another step or two and creating or bringing value to you or to me by other sources. Mm-hmm. Hey, this individual can do this. Maybe you'll find value in that. Personally, I don't get anything out of it, don't get any dollars out of it, but I brought value to you.
Right.
So I think that's another level.
You're a great connector, thinking about what is it that you're looking for. You ask that a lot. Yeah. What are you looking for today? Because that can change with people over time. And if you're not checking in with your kind of trusted sources, what they are wanting to get in touch with, asking that's a big deal. And then if you have somebody, you always kind of have that, oh yeah, I got the guy.
It's like, oh, you need a watch. It's like
Yeah.
opening up your trench coat, right?
Yeah.
But I think you're right, Renee. It's perpetual work. It's perpetual being in touch with somebody. It's just not an email once a month and going to do it, or once a year. And just understanding who needs what and how you can help them, and really just serving others. I mean, that's really where it's at. I enjoy bringing value to my current customers, their customers. It's easy to create a win situation. It's a little easier or a little more difficult to do a win-win. But when you can create a third win,
Yeah.
that's my goal.
Yeah.
And so,
Would you say you create sort of a deliberate circle of influence that you kind of rely on and check back in with regularly?
there's definitely a go-to,
Yeah.
kind of like that trench coat. There's
Yeah.
go-to things that can help our people, our relationships can help others out. And I think that's when you tap into that, really shortens that cycle, whether it's a sales cycle, relationship cycle. It shortens it way up. Oh, Renee. Oh, well, heck, let's talk.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. One of the things you kind of mentioned earlier, I kind of want to go back to. It reminded me of a Stoicism theory of amor fati, which is like love, fate, and basically all of these experiences are how you got to where you are today, and to really live in that moment and no longer suffer from past failures or just sit and stew about future
Right.
things that can go wrong that usually never do go wrong. And I think it's cool because you have opened up. There's things in both of our lives that didn't go so great, but I treasure and value those just as much as the things that did go great.
Spot on.
And I think that's really kind of something that we share in common, kind of that mindset. What do you think about that?
Absolutely agree. I have learned probably in my 62 years, learned more from my failures than my successes. And failures could be anything. That's a broad term, right? I mean, whether it's professionally, personally, or otherwise. But I keep my priorities are the 3 F's: faith, family, friends. I mean, that's where I dwell, and that's where I'm at. And to your point, just not people really spend too much time worrying about the past, what if, what could have been, or worrying about tomorrow, and instead of just taking about what you can do today.
Yep. Yeah. I love that. Well, I think we should probably tell a little bit more about what Border States does, and just maybe some projects you guys have going on.
Perfect.
Maybe people aren't super familiar with them.
Border States, we are the 6th largest electrical supply company, employee-owned, in the United States. We did over $3 billion in overall sales last year. Formerly, Chris Davis was a regional player in the same industry, and we've had about 10 acquisitions in the last 15 years. So we are growing predominantly by acquisition. Some of the bigger projects we've got, everybody's heard of Facebook. We are the supplier for the Facebook data center build. That's really turned into an animal of its own. 4 million square feet, 9 buildings, 10-year project, huge project.
Yeah. And you guys, in that project, what are you supplying and what role are you playing?
Okay, PVC conduit, anything that's, so data center server stacks, they're going to be running lots of wire, lots of Cat 5, Category 5, lots of stuff through conduit. And obviously lots of wire and about everything in between. It's a long project, so we're just in the infancy there, but it's a quite amazing project.
Yeah, and I think you've kind of mentioned that you guys are already starting to stockpile in preparation for huge projects like that. And I know you guys have ran into some supply chain issues, so let's talk about that.
Everybody that's in any type of industry, manufacturing, everybody, including we just talked about the auto business, the auto repair, and supply chain issues have been huge for the last year or two, and it's going to continue through next year. There's no way to put it. And it was a perfect storm the last 2 years on why. But supply demand is still, very prevalent today, right? But as we partner with many of the top manufacturers and do a large volume with them, we have a little bit of edge on quantities, on availability, inventories, and we do have a lot of systems in place to help manage inventories for us and our subcontractor clients.
Right. So where do you guys hope to go, or where do you hope to go in your career in like the next 5, 10 years? Any idea?
Well, if my boss isn't listening, 8 years and I'm done. But no, I
We'll be sure to tag him.
I'm at this stage in my career, my life. I finally have felt comfortable with this is my last stop. This is the company I'm supposed to be at. I want to be at. Mm-hmm. So as far as personally or professionally, there's lots of opportunity within border states, geographically, positions, and I would be definitely looking for something to stay with this company. Mm-hmm. As far as business-wise, the sky's really the limit. I mean, we're just really starting to get going in this market.
So are you able to take on like a greater capacity, taking on another huge project like Facebook? I mean, this central United States, this north to south, mm-hmm. we're becoming mm-hmm. this cheap land, build a bunch of data centers. Data is king, and we are only going to continue to need more storage, cloud storage space. Mm-hmm. So, yep. So how much more capacity could you take on? Would that be, how's hiring going? I mean, I think that's a big issue for most companies.
Yeah, that's a great point. We are positioned resource-wise to take on more of sizable whales out there of accounts, mm-hmm. Just because of the nature of I think we have 102 locations, mm-hmm. so we can draw inventory-wise from other parts of the country to satisfy inventory needs. Employment, it's tough anywhere. I mean, our company offers, my goodness, employee stock options, the profit sharing, the 401k, good pay, good salaries. We offer mm-hmm. a lot, good benefits. So do a lot of other employers, right? Mm-hmm. It is a tough. We probably are to this day looking, go hire, go apply, looking for a lot of warehouse help.
Oh, right.
And there's a combination of jobs within that general heading, but it's a tough market.
Yeah. What's a danger or a threat? That's a great opportunity. You guys have a lot of room for growth, but what's a threat that could come down the pipeline besides supply chain?
Well, it's geopolitical, really. I mean, so a lot of our products are commodity buy. Mm-hmm. EMT, metallic conduit, copper wire is going to fluctuate like the markets do. Mm-hmm. However, if you look at a geopolitical threat, which most people don't look at, but I do, on the lighting side, on LED lighting, any components that come from, so most of all the electronics are going to come from 3 areas in China, Taiwan, or Vietnam. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the political situation right now between China and Taiwan, if something would happen there, mm-hmm. not that it will or won't, that would disrupt the supply chain on those items as well. So that would be
That's
something.
A great answer. Just off the top of your head,
I didn't even
nailed it. I enjoy having those types of conversations with you. I think you think deeper and look at situations in a different way sometimes than I would. I'm a little bit more one way, and you know your shit, so that's always fun. So
you got to look ahead, right?
Yeah.
Because change is inevitable, and if you don't plan for change, or at least try to plan for change, it's going to run you over.
Yeah. Okay, well, I like to ask this question. I've been asking it more lately. What's one of your favorite books that you've read? And what's your favorite book? And why?
I've got 3 going right now. So there's one, and I never remember the names of the authors. I just go through the first 2 pages. I like this book, and I check it out. Not on an e-reader or Kindle, Nook Fire, whatever those, a real hardbound book. One is on the Cold War and how the U.S. Navy was able to really play a part in that Cold War. You know, back in the 50s, 60s, we were so concerned about communism spreading. So that's one I got going right now. And another one is kind of an unsolved murder. It's nonfiction.
Okay.
About 2 gals that were murdered up in Washington on a hiking trail.
Okay.
So those are the 2 that I remember right now. I'm never good with names of the books. I can tell you exactly what's going on, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's one piece of advice that you could give to someone that not a veteran like you in business? What's something you could tell a newcomer to the work world?
I think if you're talking the sales world, which obviously is my world, prioritizing your time. I think when I was younger, newer in the business, I looked at my time and broke it out in percentages. So there was about 5 to 8% of a chunk of business or possible businesses that I wanted to do business with. And I devoted like 45% of my time to that. These people were never going to buy from me. And then there's another chunk over here that bought from me already or would buy.
Yep.
And then there's a big percentage that are, quote, on the fence. So I shifted that time. I'm very competitive, as you know. So I had to figure out, they're never going to do business. Cut your losses, dude.
Yeah.
And focus on the people that are going to have relationships with you.
Yeah.
Hence, buy from you and so on and so forth.
Get to the no.
Yeah.
If they're a no, get to the no.
And be done with it.
Yeah.
Be done with it.
And that's okay.
Understand that you're not going
I'd
to do
rather
business
get a
with
no.
everybody.
I would rather get a
Than
no
a maybe
than
or call me back.
Don't feel bad. Don't Nebraska nice me. Just tell me no.
Yeah, and don't chase it.
I won't waste any time on you. That's okay.
Absolutely correct.
You're actually doing me a big favor.
That's a big lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is. So, and it's a tough one because
It is tough.
you're trying so hard and you're trying to do everything for everyone
don't wanna
kind of
give
in the
up.
beginning. You don't. I'm not a quitter, but sometimes it is just time to
Absolutely.
move on. Okay, and I had another question before. What was it? Who has been a big influence in your life?
Well, I think it's kind of a cliche, but my dad, he's still alive. He's a Korean War veteran. Was in commercial realty respected for a million years in this community. He's up at the Norfolk VA home right now. But my dad, integrity, honesty. He wasn't a big talker, so I got that from my mom. But my dad always told me, he said, son, and I got in trouble a little bit. Doug, don't lie. Just tell the truth. When you lie, it only perpetuates the mistake you made already. And then you think back then when you're a kid, you think, sure, Dad, yeah, whatever. Just don't want to be spanked, right?
Yeah.
But no, my dad was probably, for who I am now, as far as character, the biggest influence.
Well, that's great. I'm sure he'd love to hear or see
If he
that.
has his hearing aids in.
You'll have to play that for him later. I think that's
We're
cool.
going to see him in 2 weeks.
Yeah. You stay in good contact with him, I know.
I go through a town called West Point every time I go up there. Know anything about that?
It's like the coolest place on earth. If you
It
haven't
is.
been, you should check it out. Well, do you have any final bits of advice or anything you want to tell the audience?
No, I just want to thank you and True North. I met you when it was Easy Apps, or I think
Yeah.
that's what.
Yep.
And it's really been fun, and I do sincerely mean it's fun to watch you grow, and your entrepreneurial growth, and your personal growth as well. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, you have made introductions for me that,
It's my pleasure.
I truly value, and you've truly helped True North
You're a good friend.
be where
You
it is
always will
today.
be, and that's how we roll.
It is. All right, buddy.
All right, partner.
I guess we'll have to sign off. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in today, and we'll catch you in a few weeks.